What's up, DC Nation? Back into the Batman comic review, and guys, this is the conclusion to the Joker War. Now, if you're not caught up in the storyline, well, I'm going to link down in the description my whole playlist. It's like 21 videos, guys, tie-ins and all, for you to get caught up. Because if you're not caught up in the storyline, like, actually, how are you not caught up? Like, it's the biggest Batman storyline going on right now. Well, it's this and 3 Jokers, but this is more like frequent with other titles, and it's been going on for about a month and a half now, I think. But it's been a great storyline, and the last issue ended with pretty much Batman being caught from behind by the Joker in a bat costume. We see Joker in his own bat suit having a gun to Batman's head, while the rest of the Bat family, they're all together fighting out against the clowns, Punchline, the Underbroker, and the cops, pretty much the GCPD, which includes Bullock, the new commissioner, is trying to take back the city. So a lot of moving parts, a lot of things at the end, so we're going to see all that conclude in this issue, and see how this pretty much segues into James Tynion's next arc on this Batman run. So far, I've been loving James Tynion's writing on the series. Yes, he can put a lot of exposition in a lot of his work, but so far in this series, he's been doing a great job, and I'm excited to see what he does. And guys, Jorge Jimenez, his artwork is amazing, guys. I'm excited to see what he has for this final issue. Like, he's probably going to put the best work he's put in this entire title so far, because it's the finale to this huge event. We'll see how it concludes, and I'm not going to waste your time any further. So yeah, guys, let's get into Batman number 100. This issue opens up and you see Batgirl. She shows up to the clock tower in Burnside, and she says, "Computer activate." And she pretty much says, "Alright, I need eyes everywhere to see all the Bat family go against the clowns." And her first order of business is, first things, any Bat vehicles currently in enemy hands needs to be put pretty much down. Like, all these Batmobiles need to be done. We're just going to shut them down so we have less to deal with, right? She pretty much tells the whole Bat family that Oracle is back online. So guys, Batgirl is back in her original, like pretty much after she got shot, when she was just Oracle. She would help behind the screens, not actually in the battlefield, to help out the Bat family, guide them to success. And I really like this thing, guys. It's a great way to open up the issue, and what we see is Pierce Batgirl leading all the Bat family to where they need to go to fight off all these clowns. We see Duke, we see Batwoman, we see Orphan and Cassandra Cain as Batgirl. Looks great, guys. We see Red Hood, we see Damian Wayne Robin, we see, actually, it's either Damian Wayne Robin or Tim Drake Robin. You guys tell me who you think that is down below, but you also see Clown Hunter. He's down to take out his own clowns. Yeah, he's not a part of the Bat family, but he's hearing all this, because Batgirl's actually saying this throughout Gotham City, saying we're going to take back pretty much Gotham City, take down the Joker, and she's saying it's time for the Bat family to pretty much strike back. Now, what we see is the GCPD, and this cop goes up to Bullock. He says, "Commissioner Bullock, the mayor's office wants you to direct everyone to shut the Oracle system down." And Bullock says, "There are lunatics in clown masks burning down the city, and he wants me to do what?" And the cop says, "He said that you do it or you're done. You're on thin ice as it is." And Bullock says, "All this time, we thought we could make it better from the inside." Huh, Jim. He's referring to Commissioner Gordon, and he says, "What would you do right now if you were in my place?" Like I even have to ask. And he drops his badge. Bullock pretty much stops being a commissioner. And he says, "Tell Mayor Dutch that's my answer." And he says, "Boys, this is our ex-commissioner Bullock speaking. The GCPD is being asked to stand down. Be told that defying City Hall's going to cost you your badge or your gun. But I don't need a badge or gun to do what's right. I've got my radio, and I'm going to follow Oracle and go help people." So a lot of you are going to have to decide right now. Do you want to be a cop in this crooked city, or you want to do what's right? So he pretty much gives his whole cops all these decisions. It's a really powerful moment. Now we transition, and we see Nightwing. He's fighting pretty much against his clowns. He says, "Nightwing to Oracle. That line about the bat signal gave me chills." So Miss Batgirl said, "Hey, the bat signal is supposed to give hope to Gotham City, so it's time we lie again. So it's time that the Bat family strike back, right?" So Nightwing say, "Yeah, that's pretty good." Now, Oracle says, "That's just adjusting back into old spandex in the night air." And Nightwing says, "It's not spandex." And she says, "You really want to go head-to-head how the synthetic fabrics in your costumes are made?" And Nightwing says, "Nope, just want to say it's great to hear your voice in my ear again." Batgirl says, "And it's great to see you back in blue. The clown behind you has a gun." And Nightwing takes out this clown. He says, "I already saw him." She says, "No, you did." Now, Nightwing says, "Anywhere on the big guy," which is Batman. And she says, "Not yet, but I bet he has his hands full right now." Now, Joker says, "What's the problem, Brucey? Is it the outfit, or do you not like my present? I thought you loved your butler." And guys, you see Joker in this bat suit. It looks really cool. He has like a smile on it. It's actually the suit that Batman wore when he was in like that dream like state, right? And it's like part 2 of the Joker War. Now, that's when you see this dead Alfred, which is actually Alfred's corpse, and it's laughing and saying, "Master Bruce, why?" And Batman says, "You're just trying to get in my head, throw me off. It won't work. He throws Alfred off him, and then Joker says, "You really do hate guns, don't you? I used to think it was just because you're boring, but I think I'm starting to understand. It's amazing how many explosives you can fit into these little toys of yours, if you're not afraid to spend some money." Now, you see, he has Joker batarangs, guys, or Joker ranks. That's what we're gonna call them. He throws one of his Joker ranks, and he says, "Here, Bats, why don't you check out my improvements up close?" He starts to laugh. Batman, he dodges barely. He says, "No." And you see this big explosion, and then Alfred says, "You let me die." "Well, why'd you let me die?" And then Batman uses his grappling hook, he shoots it up, and he grabs Alfred. Alfred continues to say, "I hate you, I hate you." And this is supposed to get Batman's head, but Batman's just pushing it off, right? Now, Batman lands atop of like this little ledge, right? He says, "Batman to Oracle." He says, "I need backup. Joker's taking Alfred's body and weaponized it. I need to get clear of this place." And Alfred says, "I wish I'd been Aquaman's butler instead." Yeah, this is such a great line. And then Joker says, "Calling for help? Now that's cheating. This part is meant to be just you and me and some very expensive toys. Good thing one of them just killed your radio." So Batman is alone with the Joker, has no outside help, and then Joker then stabs Batman in the back and says, "Otherwise, all those weird little orphans you keep collecting would have to listen to their dear old Bat Dad get stabbed to death." And Batman says, "Shut up." And Joker says, "Be honest, it's the costume. I finally look as stupid as you do." Then Batman turns around, punches Joker in the face, and says, "Shut up." Now, what we see next is Joker and Batman fighting on this one ledge, and there's chemicals below them. And Joker says, "There, that's the spirit, but it's not enough, Bats. See, I put a lot of thought into it, and I think it's time to say got a new Cape Crusader." And then he starts to push Batman off this ledge. And he says, "I've got the suit, I've got the might, hell, I've even got the freaking butler. Maybe I'll throw you into one of those vats, and you can be my Joker. Doesn't that sound fun?" Role reversals are all the rage. Then Batman gets his utility belt, and he says, "Lights out." Lights out? That's no fair. Not that it'll do you any good. You of all people should know. Bats can see in the dark. That's when we see Batman punches Joker in the face really hard, takes off his mask, and Batman says, "You're not a bat." Joker falls to the ground, and Joker gets out one of his weapons. Batman's flying toward him, and Joker says, "Okay then, let's try this another way." And a big explosion sends Batman hurtling back. Now we shift, and we see Punchline watching the scene as it pretty much gets taken back by the Bat family. And she says, "It wasn't supposed to blow the factory yet. We're not ready. That's meant to be the next step." So she's mad that Joker just went against her orders. And he says, "I need word from my clowns on the street. Give me a body count. Give me something. Why isn't any of you this stuff working?" She's screaming. She throws her phone to the ground, and that's when the Underbroker comes out. And he pretty much essentially says that, "Hey, I can't fund you anymore. The authorities are going to come take you in. I'm not on your side." And Punchline says, "Are you kidding me, Underbroker? We've given you more money than God." And he says, "And now that money has been taken." And he says, "I appreciate your business. Should you come into some money in the future, I believe you have my card." And she says, "You piece of crap." So she's mad because Underbroker just sold him out. He's out of this whole thing. And that's when she says, "It's me. It's all over sooner than you thought. I'm sorry. I thought we'd be able to push things a little further. But I remember the plan, and I love you. I will never stop believing." But that's when she looks up. You see Nightwing. He's all standing tall, ready to go. And he says, "I know a song that sounds like that. Hi, name's Nightwing. We haven't met yet. Not really. I've been out of town for a bit." And you see him with his sticks. He's ready to fight. It actually looks really dope, guys. Like, this is probably the best image by Jorge Jimenez in this book. And that's what he says. "You're going to prison tonight. You're going to stay in prison for the rest of your life." And Punchline says, "Yeah, want to bet?" She goes to attack Nightwing, and he says, "Yeah, let's bet." And he hits her in the face, and he says, "You're not up against someone who forgot a lifetime of training anymore. This is over." And she's bleeding. She says, "Sorry, Boy Blue. The odds have just changed." You see all those clowns around her, ready to fight off against Nightwing. That's what Nightwing says. Yeah, they sure did. And you see Red Hood, Orphan, Cassandra came back, girl, Duke, and Tim Drake all show up, guys, right behind Nightwing. Pretty much, he's brought the cavalry in. Now, that's when Oracle says, "Make this fast. We need you in Midtown. We still have word of clowns at 16 theaters, but I'm getting some rattling over the wire. They're not getting their money. I think they know this is over, or at least that it's ending." Now, Nightwing says, "Who do you think stole the fortune back?" And that's when she says, "Come on, Dick. I know you only just got your head back on your shoulders, but I thought you were trained by the world's greatest detective." And we know the person who stole the fortune is Catwoman, guys. And Catwoman's watching us all, and she says, "Come on now, love. It's time to end this." She's like, "I set you up, Batman. Just finish the job." Now we shift back to Batman fighting off against Joker, and he has Alfred by his side, well, a dead Alfred, and Oracle calls into Batman. Oracle, Batman, you have a blocker in your radio, but I bypassed it the best I can from here. I can't hear you, but you should be able to hear me. She says, we apprehended the tankers. Most of the clowns are falling back. Punchline will be in our custody in a matter of minutes. You take down the Joker and this is all over. And then Batman says, my family has already taken the city back. You won't get your war. And then Alfred says, you can't win. And then Joker gets behind Batman and says, oh Batman, don't you get it? You missed the war. I already won. You have to be smart enough to have figured that out already. Now they pull something from Dark Knight Rises and stabs Batman in the back, guys, and he says, we're already onto the aftermath. Your little brats are only picking through the debris of a brand new city. They just don't see it yet. Now, Joker says, the movie theaters were just to get under your skin. It would have been a good joke to finish the job, to show them the sad face of their Dark Knight. But it's really about you and me right here. And Batman's grunty, sees a dead Alfred, and Joker says it's about the suit you get to wear when you finally save Gotham City once and for all. And then you see this whole image of Batman, Catwoman kissing the future. What could have been a great future where Batman, he's pretty much living a good life. And Joker says that. He's like, whatever future you have dreamt of, where you got to wear the shiny costume, it's gone, because it's all gone. What did you picture? Retirement, spending long hours in the manor with Robbins and Gren Robbins cooling at your feet, and the city so bright and shine paragon, metropolis with fewer aliens? And then he says, no, that doesn't sound like Gotham, does it? And then Batman looks, and Joker says, this is what I wanted you to understand finally. This city does not want you. This city is sick of you, and sick of all the ways you failed it. You try to make it pretend it was a nice place. But it isn't. It's an angry city, a hungry city, a dangerous city. It doesn't want to be tamed. It doesn't want to be controlled. And I planted the right seeds. He stabs Batman right in the chest, and he keeps stabbing him, and he says, now, everybody knows that Wayne Enterprise is not there to help them. It's the same sort of corporate terror as all the other big companies in the world. But that's when Batman kicks him back. He's pretty much like, hey, shut up. Kicks him back into like this whole fire. Joker's laughing, and he goes to stab him again. It's like the Wayne family's a broken system, like Gotham City Hall, like the GCP. Nobody has faith in anything anymore, and they should. And why should they? It didn't stop a few clowns from flying a bat plane through your window. He gets on top of Batman and he says, shouldn't you have been able to stop all this before it happened? Look, Bruce, you don't understand Gotham. You don't even live in the city. You're out in the fancy suburbs in your broody castle. Batman was a stupid little idea, kid's stupid idea. And now the city sees it for how hollow it is. And Joker just keeps talking and talking for a long time, pretty much telling Batman he's stupid, right? Now, Batman's just listening, because he has a plan. Now, Joker takes out a knife, about to stab Batman in the face. We hear a bam, a Joker shot right in the eye. And he falls to the ground, it's like, who? And then we see Harley Quinn. She says, hey, Mr. J, long time no see. She's above him. Joker says, Harles? And she says, I've been using your mugshot for target practice a long time now. But I gotta say that was pretty cathartic. And Joker says, still didn't get the kill shot though. Now, Harley gets these pretty much cuffs, puts it around his hands or his wrist, and she says, no, that has to come from him. And Batman says, Harley, what are you doing? And Harley says, we're going to play a little game, Batsy, and you're going to need to make a decision. She pulls out 2 bombs, and she pretty much puts one on Joker and one on her. And she pretty much tells Batman that, hey, this is how it works. Both these bombs are going to go off, but you got to choose who's going to be saved, right? And Batman's like, don't do this. She's like, you were losing. And Batman's like, no, I wasn't. I was calling in the family. They're in route here now. The longer I kept him talking, the more time I got. We don't need to end this way. He needs to be locked up. And Harley pretty much says, honey, you're talking to the wrong girl if you think he's not dangerous locked up in Arkham. It's like I said, that's not good enough for me. Not anymore. And Joker just keeps laughing. And she tells him, you're only going to get one of us in time, Bats. And she runs away. She's like, who's it going to be? So she gives Batman a choice. Save her or the Joker. Now, Joker says, I do love a wild card. She's still got that old spunk, does she? And Batman says, listen close. You were smart enough to pick the pockets from the next gen's bat suit. The bomb can be disarmed. And he says, no, that's not how this works. You're going to have to save me yourself. You got to go and risk my dying and leave your butler's body to roast with me. Joker looks at Batman. Batman looks back. And they just walks right by. Joker says, what are you doing? Batman, come back. Don't just walk away from me. He says, don't you dare just walk away. And then Alfred just keeps laughing. He says, shut up. He's like, shut up. And we see this big bomb explosion. Now, 1 week later, Harley Quinn wakes up in the hospital. She survived. Batman chose her. And she says, I just had the weirdest dream. And she says, and you were there. And there was this mean lady with a dumb name who wasn't even funny or anything. And Batman says, Harley? And she says, how long has it been? He says, a week. And she says, told you it was a good bomb. And she says, you know, you really had me fooled a second there. Now, is he dead? And Batman says, I found his bomb intact. deactivated just in time with the tools he stole from the bat suit he'd been wearing. There's been no sign of him since, and Harley says, yeah, he's never been the encore kind of clown. When the big show's over, he heads to the ground. Now, that's what Batman says, but now he knows, and you know too. I think that matters. It looks so different already. She says, huh? He says, to see, it's changed so much. Like, it's really different from when it was like all chaos in the Joker War. And she says, I mean, sure, it's uglier, but it's always been kind of ugly. A big ugly city full of ugly people doing ugly things. But they're still just, alive. Doing things, trying their best. She smiles and says, and you help keep them alive. That's pretty neat, I think. And Batman smiles and says, you're right. And she says, oh brother, I'm just on some happy juice, aren't I? I'm not used to being this generous to those bozos out there. And then Batman says, I'm glad you're okay. And she says, are you? And he says, I had to bury my father again today, which is Alfred. He says, I did with my family. And he says, he once told me that a fight with Joker is a fight against death itself, and that fighting is living, continuing on. And he says, I'm ready for that. And he says, everything I've lost, I don't know that I ever needed. And what comes next is going to be hard. But I think I can meet it face on. I think I can be a better man, a better Batman. And Harley smiles and says, well, good. No point being a crappier Batman, He says, I guess not. She says, now, you gotta help me bust out of this joint before they ask me about health insurance, okay? Now we shift to the epilogue. And we see this one character, Ghostmaker, the next villain. He says, oh, Bruce, what a mess you made. Our teachers would have been ashamed of you. I think it's time your city had choice as protector. The truce is over. It's time for Gotham to meet the Ghostmaster. And it says next, after the laughter. So guys, that was Batman 100. So my thoughts on this issue, right? I think it's a solid end, but it's the weakest chapter in this whole Joker War event. And I'll explain why. Mainly because this feels like a rehash. It's the same thing we've seen all before. Like, come on. Like, we see Batman vs. the Joker. We've seen the whole Bat family go against clowns. Okay, we got Punchline now here. She barely does anything in this issue other than get beat up by Nightwing. Now, I did like that scene. The, pros in this issue, the best stuff, was Nightwing being back. That is kind of different in a way. Yeah, he's been gone for so long, so see him back, ready to go. Jorge Jimenez draws him so well. Seeing him with the sticks just beat up and Punchline, I thought that was pretty dope. It was pretty cool. And then seeing the Bat family all together, Cassandra Cain's Batgirl, Orphan, Batgirl as Oracle, that was some cool stuff. Bringing back a lot of nostalgia. So that was kind of different in some ways. It felt kind of unique, and Jorge Jimenez drawing all of them, it actually looked pretty good. But the the stuff that didn't really connect with me, that I didn't really like, was mainly the Batman-Joker fight. Now, it wasn't a bad fight. There was some cool stuff with, Alfred laughing at the Joker, or laughing at Batman, Joker trying to get Batman's head, but it felt like the same stuff. Joker's just taunting him, saying, oh, you can't save Gotham, you're a bad Batman, it's a stupid idea, oh, you can't have that future that you wanted. And I did like the one image of, Batman and Catwoman are kissing, the future, that looked like a really great image by Jorge Jimenez, but, all the other stuff is, Joker just taunting for, a couple pages, just, talking and talking, and it kind of got me alright, this guy have a slog to read at this point. Can we just get to something big? Which, yeah, when Harley showed up, shot Joker just like that in the eye, that was a cool, that really hit, impacted me. It was a great scene. But the stuff before that was kind of slog to read, because something that James Tynion doesn't do well sometimes was in my opinion, it's the first time in this Batman run that's come up, is when he puts too much stuff to read, alright? Really, Joker, how he talked, it says paragraphs on paragraphs of just talking and dialogue, that it's there's no way you can talk that fast when he's stabbing Batman. It doesn't work, alright? And it makes it a slog to read. It kind of slows the momentum of the whole scene. Yeah, the momentum does speed up once, okay, Harley shows up, shoots him, and then Harley gives Batman a choice, choose me or the Joker. I did like that scene. That was great. I really liked when Harley's hey, choose me and Batman, just walks right past Joker. I was let's go. That was such a great scene. Seeing Joker how dare you? And Alfred, a dead Alfred's just laughing at him. That just hit, alright? That was probably one of the best parts in this whole Batman-Joker fight. But something I have a problem with is this whole, Joker War thing was marketed as the final fight. The final, pretty much showdown between Batman and the Joker. But he's still alive. He's still alive, guys. At the end, okay, when it blew up, the whole thing blew up, I was alright, maybe that's his death. If it was, I don't know if it would have been as satisfying, right? I did like the part that Alfred's laughing at him, but at the same time, it just felt kind of anticlimactic to me, alright? It kind of did. And then later on, you see Harley and Batman talking in the hospital, which I like their interactions. Harley and Batman were great, and seeing Batman have a different outlook on Gotham City, it looks different. Yeah, it's kind of ugly, but I can change it. That was great. Brought his whole character arc from the beginning of this event to a good close. But then Harley just says, yo, what about the Joker? Batman's like, oh, he got away, you know, as he always does. I'm like, as he always does. Isn't this supposed to be different? Like, this is supposed to be a whole different story, but it's the same thing. That's something that's kind of creeping up now. I'll say something about Tom King's run. Like, I didn't like the ending, I didn't like how he ended, I didn't really like that. But I will admit one thing, at least he's trying something different. I did like how Thomas Wayne, O'Bane were going after a different villain than the Joker. So there's a lot of interesting concepts in that run, just Tom King didn't execute that well. It kind of failed at that. Where this, James Tynion, he's not right, not bad. Like, I really like his previous issues. This whole event's been amazing, but this issue kind of fumbled at the finish line a little bit because it just didn't wrap up as epic or as awesome. And the stuff that did wrap up that James Tynion probably thought was pretty cool was kind of the same stuff we see in previous storylines. But guys, overall, I thought this issue was still solid, and it's not bad, and it still gets me excited for future issues in the series, because James Tynion, he's not leaving. He was supposed to end at issue number 100, because it's like 5G, but that got delayed, so James Tynion's doing another story arc with Ghostmaker, the villain at the end, which looks interesting, and also more of Clown Hunter. Which, guys, Clown Hunter and Punchline, those two stories at the end of this issue, I will be covering in separate videos, because those deserve their own videos, alright? So I want to talk about the Clown Hunter separately, and talk about Punchline separately, because both those characters don't have a lot to do in this particular, like, conclusion of the Joker War, more the aftermath. So I think that's better for a separate video than this one. But yeah, that's overall my thoughts. I thought it was good, but could have been better. I'm overall going to give this issue an 8 out of 10. I recommend it, but don't expect something to be huge. Like, wow, this is the biggest showdown between Batman and the Joker. Man, this is a big ending. In my opinion, not so much. But guys, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up. You should make subscribe to my next Batman comic review. And I will be doing Joker War Aftermath videos too for Batgirl, Nightwing, and other Bat Family titles. And yeah, guys, like, comments below. Tell me about this issue. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What was your favorite part? What was your least favorite part? What would you rate it out of 10? And do you agree with my points? Do you think it was a little anticlimactic? And you think that Joker, it's just, he didn't connect with me this time. He actually kind of got a little annoying, alright? So when he died, I was like, alright, whatever, I'm cool with that. Whereas in 3 Jokers, I feel like, Joker's kind of being overused a little bit, right? In not the good way. I'm fine with more Joker. I'm always cool with more Joker. But when he's just being used in not the best way, just be, oh, another villain, oh, the same storyline, it makes it kind of a slog to read and not the best story, alright? But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and peace out.